Hi, today I'm going out of the fair, test drive this YASHICA T4. We'll see what I can get. Years ago I had one. I don't remember how well it turned out. One thing, the issue I have is that there's a time delay between when you press down the button and the shutter actually fires. So for street shots, if you want a decisive moment, most likely you're gonna have to get real lucky to get it. We'll see. We'll see how the picture turns out. This camera has been hyped, because the camera itself is made out of mostly plastic, although the lens is glass. I feel like they just really worth like no more than $15. But if you look online, this thing is like $700. I don't know why, but a lot of people consider this very sharp. One of the, well, a famous photographer back in the day, Terry Richardson, uses one of these for his photo shoots. Of course, I didn't really pay what everybody pays, like, $700 for this camera. Oh, no, it's not. That's not for me. Especially you can't change ISO. It's just fully automatic. It's really not worth the money. But the image quality, a lot of people really like, because it has the Carl Zeiss T-Star 35mm 3.5 film. This one, different from the T4 Super or T5, is it doesn't have the little scope or viewfinder that you can actually look down and shoot. This one doesn't have it, but I think this one is 3.5 lens, and the other one is, I think, is f4 possibly, or 4.5. I never owned one of those before, so I don't know. I think I got this one for close to $300. It was a deal, but again, this, if I don't know anything about cameras, just by simply holding my hand and just to see what this camera can offer, $15. But anyways, one thing I noticed, that some people complain that this camera drains the battery very quickly. I heard one of the YouTuber reviewers said maybe it's the LCD, or the LCD drains the battery, because when you turn the camera off, this thing is still on. I think the LCD actually uses a lot less battery power. But one thing I did notice is this. Let's when you turn it on, the lens comes out, turn it off, lens goes into retract inside. But with this camera, if you try to achieve focus, you press halfway down. There's two light. There's a red light and a green light. If they're lit steady, that means your focus is achieved, like this. Let's see, does it go? See, it's blinking. That means no, they can't focus. Let's see, how about this? Now it's in focus. So, but did you hear this? That's when you press it down. Something inside of the camera tried to focus or something, but actually the lens doesn't move until you press all the way down, and the lens will actually do something like that. I don't know if this actually gives the camera idea how far the subject is. So when you press down the shutter, this thing gonna just go exactly what it's supposed to, take the shot and retract back. I don't know, but there's this, you hear that? And here's the deal. If you turn the camera off like that, if you press the shutter, you can, it still does it. So I think if you put in your jacket pocket or in a bag, and somehow there's stuff that pushing on this shutter, I think you can drain the battery this way. I don't think the camera will fire the shot. No, it doesn't fire the shot, but this clicking, See, shutter button is still somewhat on. If you're looking for shooting something more candid, something that, you know, bring you to a trip, and something lightweight, you just fire the shot and still get a good quality shots, I think this is not a bad camera. If you can find a great price for it, that'd be great. If you can't, well, I wouldn't pay $700 for it. The alternative for this camera is Contax T2, and that is over $1,000, I think, now. You can find one cheaper, but those are broken in parts. You're gonna have to fix it. Oftentimes the problem with the Contax T2 is it has a ribbon cable that's make the lens go like in and out. Over time, you know, they get broken, so you have to replace the ribbon cable to make it work. There are places that fix those, but I don't know anybody here in the US can do it, but I'm sure there are some people here in the US can do it. I don't know how much they are though. For street photography, I was gonna say, there's an alternative I have that sometimes I use. Those are those Rolly 35S or Rolly B35. The Yashica is very lightweight. It's only weighed with film like a 7.5 ounce, where the Rolly is like 14, I think 14 ounce. This is a little lighter, the B35. So in terms of weight, this is great. And the size-wise, they're very similar, even though Rolly is a little condensed. But Yashica has autofocus, and it's 35mm lens. Where the Rollies are 40mm, and you have to guess the distance. So you press it out, turn it, lock it. So you have to guess how far it is. On this one, the top is in meters, the bottom is in feet. For the longest time, I didn't even know there's a one in the bottom. So you have to really learn how to guess it. If you are not good at guessing distance, you're gonna have to stop down the lens like f8, f11 or something like that. You can still achieve pretty good focus. That's what I kind of use. I had a Leica M1 that it doesn't have a rangefinder. Basically, it's just a Leica M that I use for street shots. But these Rollies are a lot more compact, and you know, for the most part, I can get by with this as long as, you know, I can shoot at f8 or f11 and set it at, you know, I generally like it, set it at about 6 feet or less, somewhere in there. If I want a close-up shots of people, just the head and shoulder a little bit, maybe, well, I'm gonna go in feet, so it'll be 3 feet, between 3 feet and 6 feet. So if I do 6 feet, and you can see if I shoot in like f16, I have between like, I don't know, a little over 4 feet to 10 feet of depth of field. So works pretty good, actually, surprisingly. And this certainly, it's a sonar lens, so it's a little bit one more element, I think. Don't quote me on it. Has more element actually than the Tessar. Tessar normally has 4 elements. This one only has 3 elements, called the Trialtar. And a lot of people don't like it. That's why this camera is pretty fairly cheap, inexpensive. But I use it with a flash. It can be kind of interesting. Just can't shoot it wide open though. That's all. If you have any questions, let me know. With this camera, yeah, if you can find a good deal, go for it. Definitely great to put in your camera bag along with you more professional cameras, because this will give you a certain look. It's kind of neat. I highly recommend it if you can find a good price.